Hello, bruvs. I've basically taken a day off here, but I'm going to fit in one small chapter of Dracula Go Home by Platt because they're rather short. And why shouldn't I? Get on my way, bruv. Chapter 9. We served more people for lunch, not people staying at the hotel, but travelers on the road. My aunt had a reputation for serving terrific meals at fair prices. Jill and I were kept on the run. She asked me to point out the actor. I looked. Mr. Claude was skipping another meal. I wished I knew more about vampires, how to tell them from other people. The man at the summer playhouse had told me Claude was a magician and an acrobat, but I had a one-track mind and didn't believe him. I figured you don't go around telling people you're a vampire. You don't hand out business cards. After lunch, I asked my aunt if I could take off. I wanted to look at some books in the library. She was glad I was showing an interest in her hometown. The library, a former church, was in the middle of the village. Made of big stone blocks, it was nice and cool inside. It also had a lot of books. Lots of books, even though those look like newspapers. I found a few on vampires, mostly folktales, some history. There really was a Count Dracula once. He killed a lot of people, but he didn't bite them to death. He had his soldiers slay them. He had a bad temper. The other stories were like the TV movies I had seen. The living dead. Taking the blood of sleeping victims, flying around like some big bat at night. Back in the coffin to sleep by break of dawn. The only way to get rid of them was to find them asleep and use a pointed wooden stake. I put the books back on the shelves. Then I saw a newspaper rack in a corner of the library. They had the village newspaper, the Hammond News, daily issues that went back for 20 years. I didn't have to go back that far. I turned back 3 years. A back page had an ad for the Hammond Summer Theater Group. They were rehearsing a new play, The Devil Inside Us, to be performed during July and August, featuring real magic. Now I had to find some news about a month later. It was on the front page, Tragedy in Lake. Maria Palmer, 26, a performer with the local Hammond Theater Summer Players, was accidentally drowned last night when her canoe overturned. Miss Palmer was assistant to the noted magician Mr. Andrew Clyde, also appearing with the Hammond Players. Local police dragged the lake for several hours before recovering her body. She had severe cuts and bruises, and it is believed her canoe struck a rock. Canoes can be tricky, but she must have been going awfully fast to have hit that rock so hard, I thought. I was putting the old papers back when another headline caught my eye. Series of summer home burglaries continue to baffle police. More than a dozen waterfront homes have been looted the past few weeks. Jewelry and valuable silver have been taken. Sheriff Post of Hammond County admits to a lack of clues. It seemed my aunt was wrong when she told me nothing much ever happened in Hammond. I left the library and headed my bike back to the hotel. It was late afternoon. Then I had another idea. I pedaled toward the cemetery instead. This time I was more careful. There was a grove of trees bordering the graveyard. I parked my bike and sneaked up quietly. He was there again. Not standing around this time looking at the tombstones. He was busy, using a log-handled shovel. I watched him at it for a while and then left. Now I had something else to wonder about. Why was Mr. A.R. Claude digging a hole there? He's a damn necromancer. A darn necromancer, pardon for any children watching, which I hope is not the case. Goodbye.